All right. Good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing this morning? We're going to take a look at some assets this morning. We're going to see if we can't find ourselves a little trade to jump into. Good morning, Ray, Michelle, Poida, Aaron, Run DMC, and anybody else that's popped in and just hasn't said anything yet. Good morning to you all. Welcome if you are new to the channel. If not, welcome back. This is the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you all become better traders. That's right. We discuss entries, exits, take profits, all the relevant things that you need to know in order to make money in the financial markets. First and foremost, we're going to look at Bitcoin. Then we'll follow it up with the S&P 500 and a few other things. Then we'll answer some questions. And hopefully by then we got ourselves a trade. We do have a potential long entry staring us right in the face right now. We did just have initial jobless claims. You can see right here. Initial jobless claims came in at 190K. 214 was expected, so 190 significantly under 214, and we had 205 last month. So that's that number. It's green. I don't know if it's good news or bad news for the market, because typically it really doesn't even matter. This big nasty down weekly candle that we're seeing on the SPOOs right now is from yesterday's retail numbers. Retail sales came in pretty icky, and as the consumer goes, so does the market in general terms. But yeah, that was a pretty nasty sell-off. It's a little bit more aggressive of a sell-off than if it was just a pullback. With that being said, you know, we've seen nasty volatility not too long ago. If you remember this week right here, that's pretty terrible volatility. And after that week occurred, you did get a little downside push, but then you closed back above support. Then you traded as an inside week, and then you got the rally. Now, the rally is consistent with a pullback from this move. So basically what I mean by that is all the short sellers are fibbing this range from high to low. You can see that it comes in right in the area where sellers would be interested in potentially taking a short trade on this, as you do have a rally in a bear market. It is still a bear market. You are still trending underneath the downtrend line. I'll pull that up for you briefly here. Right there. So you can see that, yeah, the market is obviously trending lower, getting real close to that trend line. A lot of shorts are getting really excited. And to be honest with you, anybody that got short yesterday, you made money. Yesterday we did a Discord only live stream. We did take a trade. We were looking for the short side on Bitcoin. The reason we were looking for the short side on Bitcoin is because of the news. Typically in high risk news driven events, you will see a lot of volatility. And as you can see here, the liquidation break strategy that we do basically on high risk news events played out to perfection. The unfortunate thing about it is I didn't take that trade. I took a trade in the middle of the daily range, which is kind of sort of like a rookie mistake. You don't typically ever want to do that. So naturally that trade was stopped out. We did have a few Trade Talk members that do understand a little bit about what's going on, and they waited for the liquidation, and then they got short. And as you can see, once you liquidated this day's high right here, that would have been your short side entry. They made money on that trade. For any of you that did take that trade, if you are still in it, I think you're okay. Because as you can see, here was daily support. There is the daily breakdown of support. You tested that level already as potential resistance. And so far, looking at the day, you are holding as resistance. So I wouldn't be too terribly concerned about this becoming like a bullish engulfing or anything like that. I think if you're holding that short, you can hold that short for a few more days. We were looking for a pullback yesterday. I basically set the tweet out before the market pulled back, so that way, even if you aren't in the Discord, you had the opportunity to watch for the short trade. All right, so you should have been able to take that trade and make a little bit of money yesterday. This is going to be intraday support until you get an hourly candle close below it. This is the news candle. So is there a possibility that this gets faded at the market open? There is. The problem is your risk correlation is back, more or less, and risk is at support. This is going to be potential support until you start closing dailies under it. And in order to do that, we're going to have to wait on today's close to see where it is in relation to the price of 38.92 spot 50. Once again, that price is 38.92 spot 50. My issue with getting long right here is, where are you going to put your stop? Are you going to put your stop down here? Especially since we are still looking for a little bit more of a pullback. This move right here, in as far as percentages go, you can see that it was a 5% move, which is a pretty big move. But given the rally that you had, that's not really much of a pullback. Generally, we want to see a pullback to like the midpoint or something like that of the previous bullish candle. Here is Bitcoin's last week's candle. You can see that is a monster of a candle. So could this just be the extent of the pullback? Could this trade sideways for 2 or 3 weeks right in here and then take off to the upside again? Absolutely, it could. Can this be a bull trap, bringing in all that demand, making people think that the bear market is over and then dump again? Yes, it can. I don't know what's going to happen with the market, but I know how I am positioned. And I am currently positioned short the US dollar, long risk. All right, long risk. But those positions have already realized profits. So no matter what happens with the marketplace, I cannot lose money on those entries. All right, that's the reason I have the channel, is so I can teach you how to get in and get out with a little bit of profits, and then set your stops to break even. This way, if the market does eventually go against you or ultimately goes against you, you're not losing money. That's the goal. The goal isn't to make money when you're in training or learning to be a trader. The goal is to not lose money. Risk is the goal, right? You got to maintain and watch your risk. So the best way that I found over my very many years of trading is, the best way to do that is to get in and get out, or at least at the very minimum, protect your entry with a stop loss. Remember, nobody knows what price is ever going to do. Nobody, not one person in the world can tell you what price is going to do, especially on a day-to-day basis. Now, we can all look at trends and assess the fact whether the trend is up or whether the trend is down and give you like generalities, but nobody truly knows what the market's going to do. All the talking heads right now on Bloomberg, CNBC, Fox Business, whatever your favorite financial news channel is, they are all waiting for Q2 before making any kind of decisions or even any kind of predictions, because they want to see, do we A, go into a recession, and B, how deep is that recession going to be? All signs point to recession, but we shall see, right? We shall see. I know that bearish tweets are getting a lot of. Okay, never mind. Sorry, something got my attention over here on the other monitor. Bearish tweets are getting a lot of engagement right now, so sentiment out there is pretty bearish. And we typically like to be the contrarians on this channel. We don't like to trade with the herd. Yeah, so we're bullish. We think that the markets probably maybe have put in a low. Naturally, I don't know if that is the low. But yeah, I don't know if it's the low, but time will tell. Time will tell if this is the low or not. That's all we can do. We take positions, we protect those positions, and then if we're on the right side of the market, price trades away from our positions. And then we are in a position that could last a long time. The dollar short, I've been sitting in it for a while now. So that has been the right side of the market, whether you believe it or not. No matter what your bias is coming into this live stream, being short the dollar and long Bitcoin has been the right trade, because I have been paid extensively for being in that position. So we're going to continue to hold that. So let's watch this support level right here. Let's see if this hourly support holds. Obviously, we're going to have another hour after this one. So even if it does hold this hour, does it hold next hour? I think we're probably going to see a little bit more of a downside move based on this wick right here. This really didn't liquidate a whole lot. If I pull this out, you can see that you are in an ascending channel on the hourly time frame. Typically, these are patterns that are looked at with bearish potential. Descending wedges are looked at as like a bull flag, but when you have an ascending wedge or an ascending channel, those are typically looked at for downside continuation. And we looked at that yesterday. We traded it. Some made money, some did not. All right, that's just the way this goes. What you as an individual have to do is, it doesn't matter if you're really good at calling market direction. You got to be able to translate that with a growing equity curve, right? Just because you think you know what the market's going to do means nothing. It means nothing. Can you translate that into profitability? And that's what I am here to help you with. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, everybody's. Lots of good mornings. Zach says, I finally learned my lesson listening to you for 18 months. Did not buy the top. Hell yeah. Yep, I'm telling you guys, you don't want to be a buyer up here, right? You can be a buyer at support, but you got to take profits. There's a difference between investing and scalping, naturally. Investors are looking for value. Scalpers are looking for intraday opportunities. On this channel, we mainly focus on those intraday opportunities. However, if an intraday opportunity can turn into an investment as long as it is making money, not the kind of investment where, you buy 55K Bitcoin and then Bitcoin drops to 20K and you're still invested. Not that kind of investment. The kind of investment that I'm in, right? Where you buy the lows and then price goes higher. That's the kind of investment that we're currently looking for on Bitcoin. So we do have a bullish bias on Bitcoin, and we are going to be looking to be buyers at support. Please excuse the voice. I am fighting a nasty, nasty cold, flu bug. Excuse me, whatever you want to call it. I am very sorry about that. So let's go ahead and look at a few indicators here. So if I pull up this smoothing indicator, this is a volatility indicator. It basically shows you when the market has a lot of volatility and when it does not. You can see here that the bands were squeezing together, and then we had this little bit of a downside move right here. That started the widening of the volatility, and then naturally your curve, the lower end down here, has swooped to the upside. Now on the hourly, I don't put too much weight on this indicator, but I definitely like to look at it on the higher time frames because it is a pretty good judge of trend, right? You can see here over in this area, once you put in this massive swing low down here, you were trending to the upside for a little while. Not much of a move, but nonetheless, it was still trending to the upside. So we have done that again. Once again down here, we did put in a swing low, and volatility got really tight right here. Then the explosion of price outside of the volatility ring. This is the stuff, when this occurs, we look for this to happen after. All right, all of this. This is called consolidation. After you have a very big volatile move, you typically will see some volatility chill out. You will typically see this sideways choppy price action. This gives investors either A, time to accumulate positions, or B, time to get out of positions. We know based on on-chain data that there was a lot of capitulation that did occur on the FTX debacle. If I get rid of this indicator real quick, excuse me, you can see that we have traded back to where we were when that volatility from FTX occurred. So this is where we were. Remember, risk was moving to the upside. Everything was good. And then we got those tweets and boom. That is a big move to the downside. So anybody who is accumulating for all of this time frame here, they basically dumped their coins. They were like, I'm fed up with this horse shit. I'm out. Done. See ya. So that is what capitulation is. It's when everybody has just had enough and they bounce. That's typically where the bottom of the market typically ends up being as well. So with that information, and we've already discussed that, we discussed it when it happened back in November. I put out tweets discussing it, and then Glassnode came out. They are the leading, I guess you could say, the leading people in on-chain data, since it's their platform. They came out with a video talking about how they see, a lot of capitulation occurring inside of Bitcoin with the on-chain data. You don't necessarily have that on the candlestick chart, but we do see it if we look at a 2-day chart, right? We do get that big move lower and that big wick. All right. So I don't necessarily want to be a buyer up here. I would much rather be a buyer, like, say, 18.5, 18.8, somewhere in here. But I don't know if you're going to get that. We can go all the way back here to previous bear markets because, let's be honest, that's all we can do, right? We can look at past performance, although it's not indicative of future results. The past oftentimes rhymes, right? Here's where I'm talking about. This is currently basically where we are right now. You can see this is a weekly candlestick chart. Oh, once you put in this really big upside move, which is a short squeeze, you traded sideways for literally 3 weeks after. 3 weeks of trading sideways. So if I go back over here, you can see we're not even a full week into this yet. You could have 2, 3, 4 more weekly candles that look just like this one. So prepare yourselves for that, right? Then whatever move happens from there, we will have more data, and then that will help us to make better decisions moving forward. I.e., do we want to be a buyer of this thing, or do we not want to be a buyer of this thing? Currently, I've already told you where support was. So if you have a long bias, this is the area you were supposed to be looking to be a buyer. That is your long entry. Your profit target on this would be here, simply because this is your current operating range. It's the last place you closed, right? You haven't closed a candle above it, and this is the downside operating range. You haven't closed a downside candle below it. So this is the high probable area to look for your long or short trades, right in here. Then you take profits. Like right now, you'd be taking profits. You'd be moving your stop to break even. So that way at 9:30, which is now 9:30, happens, and volatility decides to sell the move back down. You made money on your entry, and now you're good. You're out of the market, but your P&L is bigger. That's the goal. If you get continuation after that, that is what we like to call icing on the cake. And that usually is where you make the majority of your money. Because over time, an asset's growth is what investors are looking for when they buy the asset. They want to see long-term growth. They want to see positive returns to their equity. And the only way to do that is to buy it and it to go up, right? So right now, it does look like support is currently going to hold. Today's range is a very small range. So if I pull this up, you're going to see that, right? This is yesterday, which is a big outside day. That means you took out the previous day's high and the previous day's low. Big, strong outside day reversal candle. It's also called a bearish engulfing, if you will. So people are going to be looking for downside continuation off of that. They just are. That's just how this works. So if you are a bear and you think this is going to go lower, all I could tell you is watch the high of day. Right here is the high of day. If you get above that and then instantly retreat back down under it, then you could perhaps take a short trade. Put your stop above whatever high is up there and see what happens, because we don't know what's going to happen ever. But downside bearish targets is going to be yesterday's low. So eventually, I think before Bitcoin could move higher, you will have to at least liquidate that. But remember, there is another area over here that could use a little bit of liquidation as well. So I'm still kind of leaning on the near term for like the next 4 days or 5 days of seeing Bitcoin drift to the downside. I wouldn't like, I don't want to see risk continue to drift to the downside, because in it you're clearly in a downtrend, and a bearish engulfing candle, excuse me, in a downtrend at resistance is typically a pretty damn good signal. So I don't want to see risk go any lower than that. That's a great pullback on risk. That would be a phenomenal place for us to get long on Bitcoin if we were to trade down to last week's open. Yeah, boy, that would be a fantastic place to look to be a buyer. Keep you above the yearly opening range, but at the same time, that would be a very nasty candle, and I don't know if I'd want to buy it. I'd be afraid to buy it, but I would still buy it. As long as we're trading above $16,531.83, I am bullish. Okay? Why am I bullish? With everything out there that's terrible in the world today. Because it's bullish. It's as simple as that. What I am is a price analyst. I analyze price. That's what I do for a living. This is my job. And if you're above 16,531.83 on the weekly, not the weekly, not anymore because we got a new weekly candle, but on the monthly, on the quarterly, and on the yearly, you're bullish. You're up. You're up on the year. You're up on the quarter. You're up on the month. So naturally, I'm bullish, and I will be looking for bullish positions if we get under 16,531, that bias will change to bearish. And that's how I operate. I'm very consistent. We do a lot of trading here. We make pretty damn good decisions. Sometimes we get very good entries, top ticks and bottom ticks. Not always, but we do pretty damn good here. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think you've seen the majority of the sell-off that you're going to see in risk. It doesn't mean it's over, but you're trading into support. So we'll see here what happens. I will only take a short trade at the high of day on Bitcoin only if I get an immediate bearish reaction. I don't want to see candles closing above it, then the next candle open and make a new high, and so on and so forth. I don't want to see that, because if I see that, then that means the day is more or less going to be trending up, right? And you don't want to try to keep shorting something that is clearly showing you, if it's able to make high after high after high, new fresh daily highs, then it's trending, right? It's trending. But you're not out of resistance yet either. So the sell trade right there at 27.96 is still a valid sell entry as well, especially since the market is open. So, and we have something to mark our risk by, right? We have that wick right there. You have a supply candle here intraday, but nonetheless, it is still supply. So you could potentially take a short trade there. Let me see here. All right, so the way I would line that up is I would take the entry upon tagging that price, which you've just done. That would be the short entry. You could do that either through limit order or by market order. And then stop loss, I would put above this candle's close, right? That bullish close right there. Simply because if price gets above that, then that just tells me that more or less it looks like it wants to run up above the high of day, like you've just done there, right? So we got 20 minutes on this candle's closure. Let's give it a little bit of time to see what's going on here. Simply because if it closes inside of the supply, we definitely don't want to take that short either. All in all, it looks like now it wants to run after those highs. Remember, risk is at support, a very big support. So at the very minimum, I expect a bounce. This is a bounce. Will sellers kick back in and start selling again down here? I wouldn't, right? I wouldn't be looking to take no short trade here. I would be looking to take profits on that short trade. So that in itself is why we get bounces at these levels, right? That's why these levels work so good, because traders are taking positions based on those levels. So also something to keep in mind here, there is weekly resistance. That weekly resistance, daily support. So here you are. That's this price here. All right. 2879, 2873. So there you are above the high of day. Now peeky boo up. If you're going to go lower, I want to see an instant bearish reaction now. Instant, like now. I want to see it go lower right now. I don't want to see it lily-dally up here and play around. I want to see it go down. Otherwise, you're going to be trending back to the upside, more or less, for the rest of the day. And you could do that all the way up to 21,165 because you got a little bit of gap here in this volume, in these volume nodes. So price could trade all the way up to there and then find that closing daily price, right? Very small daily range today, guys. Very small. I mean, that is so tiny. It's not even funny. And since you took out yesterday's high and then you traded all the way down here and got that low and that low, my bet or my bias leans more heavily as this is the likely target. Okay? Because even where price is right now, this is closer than this is. So as far as liquidations go, the market, the path of least resistance, if you would more or less be lower. But if it's a short squeeze, which it is, I mean, that is obviously a short squeeze. I've seen these things last for weeks, right? Weeks. Get a couple days of a pullback and then boom, shakalaka to the upside. But anyway, you have an area to mark your risk now, which is high of day. On the Bitget platform, that price is 20882. So You would just mark that on the um on your stop loss here. Let's put it in. I had a limit sell setting there, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in. Put my stop as 20883. This damn thing, I can't move this. This won't move, so anyways, let's get it put in there. 20883. It's best to go into the market with a stop and profit target already in mind. So that way, when you hit the execution button or when you are triggered into the trade, your stop loss and take profit come into the market with you automatically. Because I've seen, wicks that flash real high or real low real quickly, and if you don't have a stop loss in there in time, you could get a margin call, or your account could be liquidated depending on the size of the leverage that you're using. But yeah, there you go. So looks like the market is going to sell into that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Profit target for the short 20726. So if you took the high day entry, stop is there at 20884. Take profit 20726. Right. And then you will move, if that happens, if you get back down here, you will move your stop from here to wherever your entry was and just hold that position. Hold the rest of it, right? You take the profits, you move your stop. Then, if you get downside continuation, it's icing on the cake. It just means you're going to make more money. Yesterday was a very volatile day, compared to the previous 3 days. But this is a Saturday right there. That Saturday was a pretty big day, but in comparison to Friday and Thursday, it wasn't anything. Looking at today's range, I would assume, especially since we got initial jobless claims today, this is going to be a much bigger range day. So whether it continues to go lower or not, I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a fortune teller. I cannot see into the future. But as long as you have a high risk news event, liquidation break strategies can be deployed. And we did have that today. We had it this morning. Anything with 3 stars or higher is considered a high risk news event. I don't see a whole lot of like really big market reactions off of initial jobless claims. I have before seen it happen, but it's not something that I mark my calendar for. It's not something that I worry about or even look for, really. All right. I trade the strategy regardless of what's going on. What do you think about NZD CAD? Well, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do, so there's that. Let's go look at it. It's trying to do it now. So we were looking at this as a selling opportunity potentially. And it still may end up being, but you can see yesterday it had a really big day. That's a breakout. Pretty much, if you're going to see a short squeeze, then I would expect it to hold here. Your point of control is down on the lows, so it almost looks to me like, if anything, this is probably a buying opportunity, right? You got a very easy spot to mark your risk on this one as well. But this has been straight down all day, right? For the entire daily range, you've only got 2 green candles, one at the open of the day and then one at 4 a.m. The rest of them have been bearish. So, not really just a pullback. It looks to me like something else is going on there. So, yeah, anytime you're back into the yearly opening range, you have to pay attention to it. So, if we get back under it, then it will go back on the watch list for short opportunities, right? It'll go back on the watch list for short opportunities. It is a lower high, but it's it's not bearish yet. You can see here you're still bullish. So still bullish. Would I buy it? I just don't know, right? I don't know. That's a pretty damn bad day to the downside there. I mean, you basically have wiped out all of the gains from yesterday. That's never bullish. It's never really bullish when you do something like that. So, but you're at support, potential support, and the point of control. That's that little red line right there. It's at the bottom. See that? So either a lot of sellers are coming in right here off of this one green bounce, or a lot of buyers are coming in right now. But we want to keep our eyes on Bitcoin real quick. And the same goes for Bitcoin. I mean, your point of control is midpoint, the daily range. So it's anybody's guess which way this thing's going to go today. Day-to-day price action is very difficult to master directionally. It is possible, but it's not possible to hit them every single day, but because you got random market violence. But if you took that short, I mean, you definitely want to take profits somewhere down here. Typically, you would want to do that there because that is the last and the lowest close. All right. That is the reaction we wanted to see. However, it's such a small range day. One 5-minute candle could have you right back up to $20,900 with just one candle. So I would say if we get under this, which you were here, you would expect a revisit back down to the low of day to at least make a fresh daily low. It's the way I'm leaning, right? My bias for today is lower. Saw someone post a 3 white soldiers on Bitcoin. It indicates trend reversal valid. I'm not a pattern trader, Gogoplex, so the way that I analyze candlesticks isn't the same way those guys analyze candlesticks. I don't even know what 3 white soldiers means. 3 black crows is a bearish pattern, but I don't know what three white soldiers means, right? If it's a trend reversal, candlestick pattern, what does that mean? That here, let me see here. Yeah, I don't know what three white soldiers even is. I would have to Google it and all that, and I really just don't even care. We're coming into our profit taking area. So go ahead and mark your profits. I have my profit taking at 20741. That's 20741. That is my profit target. Two zero seven four one. That's my profit target. On the Coinbase exchange, that's a little bit above there. All right. It's just different on Bitget. Right now that support on the Bitget exchange is 20737, whereas on Coinbase it's 20726. So people are going to be looking at this as a demand zone, and you have been bullish. So I mean, the near term trend and the overall trend for the year, for the month, and for the quarter is bullish. I am bullish. My bias for today is that we see lower prices. But I could absolutely be wrong. Like I said, the trade that we took yesterday for me was a loser, a losing trade. Other people made money because they took entries at different place. They waited on that liquidation candle right here. That's where they got their entry. Essentially, it's the exact same thing that we did today, right? That's your daily high. You get above it, you just simply short it. Stop is right there. So you're beyond a 2-to-1 risk to reward where price is right now. But it's just such a small range day, it doesn't really account to be a whole lot as far as money wise, unless you're levered up. Yeah, it's a 0.5%, so not really a big move. 0.5%, depending on how much leverage you have, that will dictate what you make. But we were looking for a bullish reversal down there at the lows. If you're not following me on Twitter, make sure you do so. I literally called this reversal, and like the next day we got it. Boom, right? So make sure you follow me over on Twitter. All you gotta do, it's down in the description, but it's at trade underscore talk underscore. Make sure that it's me. There's a couple people out there that keep making fake trade talk accounts. I do not know why they are copycatting me, but they are for whatever reason. So just make sure it's me. Right now, there's 4,500 followers on the account. So if it doesn't have 4,500 followers, it's not me. Make sure you're following me. So that's that support. So you didn't quite test it there to see if it wanted to hold as resistance. You did test it there, however, and you did get a bearish reaction. It just takes a little bit of time. My problem with the short is that risk is at support, and I never want to short into support. So today's probably a good day to just sit on your hands, right? That's pretty bearish coming into the support zone. But if what I think is going to happen happens, then in 6 or 8 weeks, we're going to be trading above this wick high right there. I think you're going to see a breakout, but I could be wrong. I think you see a breakout above this wick before you see a breakdown below this one. That's just my opinion, but that's what I think. I think bears have had plenty of chances, ample opportunities to push this thing lower. I think it's in the middle of a fight with demand right now. You got some kind of a form of a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders there. It's not actually a head and shoulders because of this right here. It's more of a trending pattern than anything. But we don't trade patterns here. We trade objective price levels. Those, in my opinion, that's the best way to trade. It's the most consistent way to trade. You can keep track of your progress and all that stuff. Back test the data yourself. See if it really works. And then once you realize that it does and that it is indeed very, very accurate, you can start taking them entries yourself. Stop loss for the mentioned trade in Bitcoin, 20883. Stop loss 20883. Take profit 20741. 20741. LUMN at support. There's a lot of things at support, Brian, because S&P 500 is at support. So your NASDAQ and your S&P 500 both still look like terrible, but they're switching. They're starting to look better. As long as we don't close this week down back under that 21, I think we're going to see higher prices. And like I said, that risk correlation has been priced back into Bitcoin. We saw that happen last week. Whereas Bitcoin had a much bigger weekly candle than risk did. That's because on this week right here, this week, the S&P 500 had a phenomenal bullish week. This is the week that Bitcoin broke down. This is your FTX debacle week. So this is the week that correlation was lost. But it only took, a few short weeks. And I basically said I believe that once Bitcoin prices back in the correlation, then you're just going to get a massive repricing And that repricing will likely be aggressive. Those were my exact words. Massive repricing, and that repricing would likely be aggressive. There it is. There's your massive repricing, and that repricing was indeed very aggressive to the upside. So buying opportunities on SPY or the SPOOs would be there, as long as you're not closing hourly candles under 38.98. I think you could see it slowly drift up from there. How far does it go? I don't know. I understand I talk very slow, by the way. I've been told that if you're on the replay crew, you just click it up to 1.5 or 1.75. It sounds better, so you can do that if you want. It won't hurt my feelings. I gotta poke fun at the haters. Gotta do it. For the lulz. For the lulz. Bitcoin weekly res. Also happens to be daily support. You're right back up there again. So Bitcoin looking like it's wanting to go up. If this ends up being support. Oh, by the way, just so you know, this is like, that would be the supply. Look how accurate that touch was. Not supply, sorry, demand. Demand is always under price. Supply is always above it. I just get the words mixed up sometimes, but that's pretty freaking accurate. Profit targets on that long would just be there. 39.15. That would be the operating range. So entry on that would be 38.98. Profit target would be 39.15. And then naturally stop under the low of day. Okay? And that, if that occurs, that is going to stop out the Bitcoin short. That's a fact. So that's why I say never short into support, because of this right here. All right. You got professional traders taking profits. If they were short, in order for them to get out of their short position, they have to do what? They have to buy back into the marketplace to close out that position. So just by them taking profit brings in demand. On top of that, you have buy-side traders that know that, so they will buy there, knowing that the shorts are looking to take profits there. And that's why these levels work, right? It's a give, a push give type of thing. I would love to see a deeper correction, but does not look like you're going to. All right, so Bitcoin just made a fresh daily high, which means if you took the short, you got stopped out. You see that? That's just the way it works. Random market violence. It's because risk is at support. That is why. That is simply why. Risk is at support. If risk is going to be bullish, so is Bitcoin. Because that correlation is back, baby. It's back. So trading for me is done. I'm 0 for 2 this week. Man, I'm gonna have to I gotta do something about this. I don't like losing 2 trades in a row. Never. I'm gonna have to take me a shot of whiskey or something. I'm losing my hedge. What is wrong with me? Why can't I get this together? I'm just kidding, guys. I made so much money from the move up. I am not getting hurt at all by losing 2 trades in a row. I promise you. With working with that kind of those tight stops like that, just imagine I did the same thing down here. So you got big leverage going. You take a full size position with a really tight stop loss in there at 16,530, and then price does that. It gives you like insane returns. I didn't make, for instance, what's this? What's going on? What's going on here? No. For instance, I didn't make 3,259% returns, but it says I did, right? On Bitget. That's on the USDC side. The ROE says 3,254%. On the coin M side, 3,268%. Remember, I took profits, so I don't know why it says that, but that's not what I'm up currently. I'm not up 3,260%. It would be nice if I was, though. It's what I guess that's what I would be up if I would have left the position on the way that I entered it. I don't know. But anyways, did really good. I already banked that cash. Well, I'll put it in cold storage. So we're good to go. Good to go. And just like that, another run above the high, another bearish reaction. But please don't chase price. Even if we think that price is going to be lower today, please don't try to short it again. When you make a daily high and then a new daily high and then a new daily high, it's not really giving you an opportunity, right? When we're right on these things, like it would have been that and done like yesterday, right? Let me show you. I can't remember exactly who it was that did it. Maybe Film Garden was? No, Run DMC. No, who was it? Yeah, no, it's Run Mountains. Run Mountains. He's the one that shorted it. He did. So, yeah, he made money quick. Right? Up, right there. That's where he shorted it. and then it ran straight down, came up a little bit, and then rolled over right there. Didn't go up and make another high. It stopped short right there, that 5-minute supply. So I mean, that's what you want to see if you're short, right? This is where he entered his short position. As long as you're not closing above that, your short position is still good. And then boom, in and done. This isn't doing that. This is doing something different than that. So like there was the run above the high. So moving forward, if it was going to continue lower, we would expect it to stay under this. So like run the high, come down, come back, test that, then roll over. You didn't get that. So it's just a choppy sideways, very small range, very terrible trading day. Crude oil inventories at 11 might affect NZD CAD. Yeah, I guarantee it will, because Canadian dollar is very much attached to the price of oil. I don't know what to tell you about it. You know what I mean? We had a short bias on it while it was trading under the yearly opening range. But once it got back above it, that changed everything, right? It changed everything. It changes everything, man. Because this could be 2023's low. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying that this is the low. What I'm saying is ultimately or eventually it could end up being that. That could end up being 2023's low. If it trades back to here, finds support here, and then trades away from it, then yeah, it was a fantastic buying opportunity. I even told you, if you want to buy it, you can. Just make sure you got a stop loss at least under that, right? I don't like this price action on the daily range. It is straight down. Straight down. There's only 2 green candles inside of that. So something's up there. If this was going to just be a pullback, you would expect like a nice methodical move lower with a couple upswings. Come down, check support, maybe consolidate at support for a few hours, and then go. Could it still do that? Yeah, it could, because if you pull the chart out and look, you can see that there's bigger swings in this thing. So the swing itself isn't very big. This could absolutely be a support test. Here goes Bitcoin back to the upside. Fresh daily high. So do not try to short it anymore. The short trade is done for the day. We'll try it again tomorrow. Not a short, but we'll do what we can tomorrow. Bitcoin wasn't at support. The S&P 500 was. Bitcoin broke down from support. So we do currently have a support, but it'll be, in my opinion, a support to watch moving forward, not today, right? Moving forward. So if the S&P 500 continues to trade back up, then we will be watching this price for potential bullish entries moving forward, right? That's only if this area holds as support. We got one more day on this candle's closure. Tomorrow is the close. So what I want to see is I want to see it close back above that 21 for sure. Because then that'll give us a set in stone support, a weekly support above the 21. No, I don't have. I'd have to put it over here on the weekly. You can see how you're trading right around the 50 on the RSI there. It's definitely at an inflection point. So either buyers are going to step up here or they're not. And if they do, I can very much see this thing ripping to the upside. Being long and strong is what the plan has been. Well, to be honest with you, since June, we've been bullish. We did make this, but we expect liquidations to occur. It doesn't always play out, though. Look here. You see how this low was situated? And then on this week, you traded down, but you didn't take out that low before the buyers came right back in. That's what I'm saying. Like, this candle looks bad, but in relationship to something like this, it doesn't look bad at all, does it? No, it doesn't. It looks just like a pullback, don't it? Yeah, it does. This candle even broke down below support. This was a bear trap. And then what happened after the bear trap? Whoop! For weeks. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, obviously. I'm just saying we're at an inflection point. Definitely at an area to keep our eyes on. Yeah, if you get any kind of close under 38.98, then I would probably scratch it and wait to see what happens. What do I think about a short on Aussie Swiss? Don't tell me that's not a valid symbol. I know it is a valid symbol. I've traded it before. I like a short on Aussie Swiss. Yeah, I mean, I like a short on Aussie Swiss. This would be the first place to watch for potential resistance. Let's look at it on a WANDA, as we don't get. Well, see, that changes everything, man. This changes everything right here. if we were in the middle of the year and this level was like way up here somewhere, then I would love the short right there on Aussie Swiss moving forward. But since this is here, I can't tell you that I like the short anymore. I loved it until I seen this. As long as you're above the yearly open, man, you're bullish on the year. Your quarterly is bullish, your monthly is bullish. It's got a big topside wick. It doesn't look great. It also liquidated this month. So it checks all the boxes good for short entries except one. Right? Every single box it checks for shorts. You're even under it on the monthly. You're under it on the weekly, you're under it on the 3-day, you're under it on the daily. Every box says that, yeah, this is probably a short. However, this is the one thing that changes it all. You're above that. And as long as you're above that, you're going to have a hard time getting people to short into that. Right? So watch 63040, 0 63040. If you start closing dailies and then weeklies under that price, then I would be selling swing highs. Yes. As long as you're above that, I cannot be selling it. Because your yearly trend, no matter that it's only 19 days old, I understand that. I just know how significant those levels are. And the significance is huge in this game. That's a very significant signal. So let's give it time to play out and see what happens. Yeah, I thought for sure I had done this on everything. I did, and it just has not saved the data. I'll rework this chart up after the stream. I'll rework it up after the stream, and then I'll have more data for you, or better advice. I mean, look how significant that is. Right into the 50. Look at this, dude. That's your yearly opening range. You wicked right down to it and up. That would have been a beautiful bounce day trade. A beautiful bounce day trade. It still looks like it has a little bit of bearish momentum to it. But on Aussie New Zealand, I would be watching this price for buying opportunities until you get under this. If you get under this and then it gets retested again and it acts like resistance, then I would be looking to sell it. But above it, you have to look for buying opportunities. And we know Aussie dollar is above. So where is NZD USD at? Above it. It's bullish too. Just look at that. Boom, 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 boom. Liquidation right here. Get under everything. Get under that. That means the next point of liquidation is all the way down here. So at this time, when you tested this, this was the place for liquidations. You got that, and then you went up and liquidated that. So now it looks like, yeah, you even liquidated that. So you're at a major inflection point on New Zealand dollar also. And that looks ugly, right? That indicates sell pressure according to your old school technical. That's a double top, right? That's a double top. But at the same time, as long as your yearly open is holding a support, I cannot get bearish. Not yet. We will catch some of these opportunities. NZD CAD for right now is a buy. And it will be until you get under that. This one looks different because this one's above. It was NZD CAD, wasn't it? Have we had any recessions during Bitcoin's lifetime? 2020 had a brief recession from the pandemic, but nah, not really. Nah, not really. Yeah, NZD CAD. Right there, Film Garden. Yeah, Bub. That's also weekly res, so as long as you're above this, my friend, look at your RSI. The bulls are in control of this asset. So as long as you're above that, I just don't like this price action. I know I've said that a bunch, but I mean it. Like, that's just red candle after red candle after red candle after red candle. Something happened here. Something happened and the market didn't like it. Let's see if it holds support. If this holds support, then we could probably look to be a buyer on it. The spread says 1.9 pips, but I know as soon as I log into the O broker, that's going to change. It's going to be like 3 or 4 pips. On FX.com, it'll probably be 18 or 20 pips. My father was sick for a month. Never seen anything like it. I hope you didn't take the vax. They seem to be getting it bad this winter. No, I haven't. Didn't take the vax. I was in the hospital for. I've been in the hospital. I went into the hospital a couple times last year. You guys know why. Um, but they wanted me to vax. I just didn't. Now, if they did it and didn't tell me, that's one thing. But not as far as I know, I have not had the vaccine. LUMN. Yeah, but look at that momentum, dude. That is a lot of momentum, and you're under support. You were under it. There's support under it. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. I forgot about that. Thanks, Aaron. The NZD, New Zealand Prime Minister, that woman gave it up. That's why. Yeah, be careful trading it. It's going to have a lot of volatility. That's going to bring in a lot of volatility. Yeah, I forgot about that. I read about it this morning on Twitter and just totally forgot about it. Totally forgot about it. Can you see Nat Gas? Yeah, Nat Gas is getting crushed. But it has been for a while. Like, the Nat Gas situation isn't anything that we didn't know about, right? We knew about it. It was getting absolutely killed all year. The last part of 2022. There just wasn't that demand people thought there were going to be. Cheaper natural gas prices is good for people that have to buy it to survive, though, right? So this is good news. This is good news for people that use natty gas to like heat their homes and stuff. Good news, man. Cheaper the better. Has she said why, Aaron? Has she said why yet? Why she's retired or stepping down? Someone's probably got some nasty stuff on her. I got pictures of you in front of your webcam. if you don't if you don't do exactly what we say. I shouldn't joke like that. Sorry. Sorry, YouTube, is joke. Just a joke. Just kidding. I was just speculating in a joking manner. NZD Prime Minister has announced she's going to resign. I think she's stressed, had enough, I think. Yeah, you couldn't pay me to be a politician. Hell at that. The hell with that. I don't believe we recover, says Amuela. We may not, right? We may never recover. The world may end and it might all be over tomorrow. But I am definitely not in the same thinking as that. I do believe that the stock market will recover. It might not be 2023. It could be 2024, 2025 before it finally recovers. But you're gonna see uh you're gonna see all-time highs again on the S&P 500 for sure. I don't know when, but you will. It's just a matter of time. Any other platforms we can use instead of Bitget? Yeah, that's something you'll have to do your own research on, my friend, unfortunately. I don't know where you live, and I don't, you know what I mean? Like, for U.S. citizens, it's really difficult to find a good broker for trading cryptos and Bitcoin. It just is. I mean, Coinbase was going to offer, um, they were going to offer margin trading, but to my knowledge, they still haven't. Maybe to some high net worth individuals they allow it, but as far as I know, they still don't have margin trading. So yeah, I mean, I think you can still margin trade on Kraken, but I don't know. There's not many, unfortunately. That FTX thing screwed everybody. Not just the people that he stole money from. It screwed everybody. New low will happen. See, when you talk like that, it just shows I'm not picking on you or anything. It just shows your ignorance to this stuff. Like, it shows me that you're new to the markets, right? Because you can't use the word will. By using that word will, it implies that you know for a fact it will happen, and you don't. You can't possibly know if it will or will not happen. You can say, I believe it's going to happen, or it might happen, but you can't say will. Because if it doesn't happen, then what? Right? You're going to act like you never said that. I never said that. But everything is for always on the internet. If you say or do something on the internet, it's forever. So from now on, if your opinions are gladly welcomed on this channel, right? I have bears that come over here. I have bulls that come over here. It doesn't matter to me what way you want the market to go, but you cannot say will. You just can't do it because we just simply don't know. I wish we did. I wish I knew what it was going to do. We would be so rich. I would tell y'all, you know what I mean? I would do it for free. If I knew exactly what the market's going to do, I'd let you know. There's just no way of knowing. Bitcoin will hit 100K. Now I'm getting punked. Bitcoin will go to $1 billion. I got one for you. Nat gas will hit 061517. Look, there it is. Nat gas will hit 061505. Boom, there it is. See? I know these things. Yeah, someone's going to screenshot something somewhere, the Wayback Machine or something. Everything on the internet lasts forever. They don't forget nothing. All right, you guys. Let's see here. Shaq is going to squeeze SBF. I hope he does. That man deserves more than a squeezing. He deserves more than a great big bear hug from Shaq. I promise you that. See what the bonds and interest rates are doing. Nothing's down or nothing's up tremendously. So, I mean, it may seem like everything's falling to pieces, but it's not really. What do we got? We got Bitcoin is up 1% on the day. S&P 500 down less than 1%. So I mean, it looks worse than it is on the day. It just does. Excuse me. But you are at support. You're at support, not yearly support, but support. I believe that's the yearly open. No, that is. Yeah, as long as you're above that, you are bullish on the week. I mean, on the month, right? Your candle is green. It looks bad because there's a wick, but there's still 12 days left. This thing could close up here, and then it won't look so bad. And you are bullish on the quarter. You are bullish on the year. Under that, however, is a different story altogether. Just look at these 12-month candles like this one, man. It's perfect. It opened and went straight up and never, like, that's what I want to see happen here. Just open and just keep going higher. This one didn't. This one had a lot of volatility in it, but we know why, right? That was the pandemic year. That was the year of the 2020, the March 2020 nastiness to the downside. But ultimately it recovered. So you're looking for just a liquidation? Take out the 2022 lows and then boom, get bullish again? It's possible. That is possible. We'll see if it happens or not. It's possible. But above 38.45, I'm bullish. Below 38.45, I'll look for sell trades, right? That's just how I roll. That's what I do. That's how I will handle this market moving forward. As long as we are above it and we're showing a willingness to hold at some kind of support, whether it's a weekly, daily, whatever support, if it holds, I'll be a buyer there. I just can't do it today because the momentum today is bearish. And plus, we know liquidations happen. So even if support does hold here today, and then you do get a bounce away, it'll probably just bounce to like 39.20 and trade sideways. And then tomorrow during the London, or tonight during the London session, you'll get a wick down below that and then boom, up. How many times have we seen that, right? You do not have to rush these positions. We oftentimes do rush the positions, but you don't have to. You got all the time in the world. You do not have to take a position ever. You can wait until your heart is desired. Until your heart desires. Once you really think a support level has formed, it's been tested, you've had your liquidation and all this other thing, all these other things, then you can strike. Right? Those are the really patient traders. Those traders make money. The most patient of them all. Those are the ones that are just crushing it. The ones that rush entries, because like I tell my people, especially in the Discord, don't ever, the first test, it might be good enough for like a quick bounce like this, but you just got to take profits really quick. Like on the first initial test of a big major support level, if you are going to buy on the first test, make sure you're taking profits very, very quickly, because there is a huge chance it's going to come back. Because in my experience, it takes quite a bit of accumulation at the support to basically hold it as support, not just one bounce. We've seen one bounce work before, or one touches hold. We've seen it a lot, but it doesn't always work like that. Doesn't always work. Yeah, it is holding well for now. So yeah, I mean, maybe it holds today. It's still a small range day. That's going to be your weekly resistance right there. Let's just get rid of that. Put a new in there. Boom. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going down right here. I mean, to me, that's the place for the short. It's just when the market's playing games like this, it makes it difficult to get into the damn trade. Right? I think you're going to see it go lower, especially if risk drops below that support. Bitcoin will ultimately trade lower. So watch moving forward today, if you're still interested in shorting Bitcoin, then watch this level here, 20933. an hourly close above it voids it. All right, it voids the trade. As long as you're not closing hourlies above 209.33, yeah, maybe you could still take the short. Maybe it still ends up working out. Maybe it's just waiting for tomorrow or the next day to have a deeper correction. And then again, like I showed you in 2018, 19, whatever, that, in that last bear market cycle that we had, once you had the very big bullish expansion week, it took 3 weeks for you to get another expansion. So like what we're looking at here, this could be what we are seeing for the next couple weeks. We could see the next 2 weeks do this or something similar to it. So prepare yourselves for that. When there's a legit support, when I'm ready to be a buyer again, everybody's going to know. I'll put it on Twitter. I will put it on this YouTube channel, and I will definitely let the Discord know, right? Everybody will know. I'll be like, this is the level I'm watching. As long as we don't get a daily close under it, this is the level I will be looking for entries. I promise you, I'm not going to leave you guys high and dry. Because right now is the time to be looking for the opportunity. So, although I don't want to buy it way the hell up here off the yearly opening range, I would much rather buy it closer again so I can reopen a full-size position. Yeah, you'll know. It could happen live on the channel. And I hope it does. Right? I hope it does, because that's just more evidence that I know what I'm talking about. And that would only help the channel grow. Eventually, someone's going to see something and they're going to start sharing the videos, and something's going to happen, right? But we got to get it close. We got to get it closer down here. We need it to be a better opportunity, because there's $3,500 that separates us from 20 grand and the yearly open. So I don't want to be a buyer at 20 grand. I want to be a buyer under 20 grand, because 20 grand is the old all-time high. I would much rather be a buyer closer to the bear market lows than a buyer up here, right? I physically have proof that we bought this, and then that we bought the bottom tick also. But this was done during a private stream. I physically have proof that I top ticked the USD JPY short, right? Those positions are open. You can't Photoshop it because the prices are moving. You know what I mean? You can't Photoshop that. It's legit. It's legit, but it's not good enough. Not good enough. Once Bitcoin starts to rip faces off again, once it starts to get close to all-time highs, that's when everybody starts to get, they want to be buyers on Bitcoin again. Then the channel will grow then, but then it'll be too late. Then it'll be too late again. But the cycle keeps repeating itself, and people keep doubting it. I do not know why. I do not know why some of the follower, like the guys on Twitter and YouTube, have such massive followings. Because when you actually sit down and listen to what they're telling you, the data and the stuff that they're giving you away on the channel is literal puke garbage. It's the same shit Bloomberg spews out the morning before. They listen to Bloomberg, and then an hour later, they tweet out what they heard on Bloomberg, and they get 500,000 likes for it. But when it comes to making trading decisions, they got you looking for shorts at 10 grand, at 15K. Bitcoin's about to break down here. I think we should be getting short right here. And then people lose money and they forget all about the fact that it's the blind leading the blind out there. No, you guys should be looking for buying opportunities on Bitcoin. Now, this morning I did notice something interesting over here on Glassnode. We did see quite a bit of accumulation happening down here. We got several ones down there where we were accumulating, where we've been buying from. Same thing happened over here, but remember FTX, that's what sent Bitcoin out of control lower. It was FTX. So you take away FTX, bring this price action up to like there, you're trading at like 24, 25K right now. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, this isn't technically the low because FTX did happen. As long as nothing like FTX happens again, as long as no massive Bitcoin holders have to liquidate those positions, yeah, Bitcoin, I think the lows are in. I'm positioned for the lows to be in. But those, like I said, those positions they've already paid me. I've already taken profits on it. I cannot lose money, so I cannot be wrong. I'm translating these entries to P&L, whereas everybody else is calling this a a bull trap, or a dead cat bounce, or a Wyckoff distribution, or a whatever, and Bitcoin's going to 10K. There's just nothing that suggests that. Nothing on this chart looks like Bitcoin's going to 10K, other than the fact that it's in a downtrend. You haven't taken out this swing high yet. Oh, yep, you did. So you got a higher high, right? You got a higher low, you got a higher high. This was Q4's high. You took it out. So it's natural that you're going to get a pullback. The next area for liquidations are here, here, and here. So, barring everything else, Bitcoin will either go to 25,214 or 15,460. It has to trend. It's not going to stay in between this range forever. Eventually, it's going to break down or out. And since you're closer to this one for now, my guess is this is what the target is. But only time will tell. Just look at it, the chart. Go back and back test the stuff I am telling you. Right? I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to see what I'm telling you. I want it to click, because when it does, when you really see it and it clicks, that's when you're like, holy well, I got to be careful on my cussing now. YouTube's got new rules, but you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is truly amazing. This is mind-blowing, amazing stuff because it works. It's what the market does, right? It's constantly in search for liquidations. It has to liquidate highs and lows in order to trend. Once we get in a trending environment, those highs or lows will be liquidated. And there is opportunity in aiming for those liquidations. Whether you wait for the liquidation to happen and then take the opposite side of the trade, or find an area mid-candle and then target the liquidation for your profit taking. But it does happen. It does happen. It just takes a while. So like on this one, this candle, right here, right? Look at this. This was a test of support. Well, sorry, resistance. That was a test of resistance. That was a resistance failure. So what does price do? Well, it tries to make an attempt to go liquidate that high, but it is unsuccessful. So price rotates lower. On this candle, once we got back under here, once we got back under 10,761, I was bearish. I was targeting daily and weekly lows. That's the way my trading goes. That's what I do. And this thing did this. There's your low there. Stretch this out. Look at this. Just look at that beautiful liquidation right there. Now imagine being the guy that bought that. Well, I was that guy. All right. I was that guy. While all these other people were bearish down here, I was the guy buying it. Right? And then look what happened once that. Did you take out that wick? This would have been, so now here was your liquidation zones. Did you get it this quarter? No, you didn't. But you got really close. So as long as it's still trading above this, you got to look for bullishness. You got to look for bullish targets. And then the very next quarter, you get a little tiny, you get your open, a little tiny push lower that could have lasted for a few days or a week, or who knows how this quarter played out. But ultimately, where did it go to? Right there. Boop. Right there. Now this becomes the liquidation zone. And then boom. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it works. You just got to back test it, understand it. And then when it truly clicks, when it all truly clicks, then maybe you'll do me a favor and start sharing my name out across the internet world so that way other people can learn this stuff. So that way other people can change their lives. And that way I can put literally every single one of those guys out there that are selling courses and stuff out of business. That's the end game right there. If I can put some of those people out of business because I'm giving the info away for free, then that'll be great. That'll be great. That means no one else can ever be hurt by them. They can no longer make a living by stealing your money, by teaching you something that is absolute garbage, that does not work. And plus, your charts will get a lot prettier. I mean, look at my chart, right? Look at my chart. It's a lot better looking than a lot of other charts. But if that's what you want, if you want, like, that and then some of this, how about a little bit of that? We'll give you some of that, some of this, some of that, and a couple little bits of that, right? We can do that, and then we can do this, and then we can do that, and then we can come over here and let's not forget this stuff. I mean, this stuff is important, boy. Bam, 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 bam. Got to get some of those ABCDs on there. How about a ghost feed? Let's get that over there because that's what we need right there. Some of that, and then some of this right here, right over here. Plop this baby on there, right there, and then right there, and then right here, and then throw a lot of charisma in there, right? You ready for this? Here we go. Just kidding. That's not my style. I'm a slow roller. I don't like charisma. I lack it. I'm just kidding, guys. Obviously, I'm just having fun. It's 11 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. What else can we do, right? What else is there to do? There's not a whole lot of trades to take. We got Bitcoin doing nothing. Whole lot of nothing. Yeah. It's not doing a whole lot of nothing. What's important, as we do have that risk correlation, it's back. We did make it back up to that quarter high, which is important. But they are right about one thing, and I'll give you to you straight. You have liquidated now Q4's high. So if the market is going to be bearish, you know what to look for. 15,460. That's your bearish target. Right there. Because you have liquidated that Q4 high. And I see no reason for Bitcoin to need to go liquidate Q3's high. I see no reason for it to do so. It doesn't have to, right? But I guess if it wants to, it can, and then it can roll over. There's nothing says it doesn't have to. It's just not likely. It's just not likely. We are 19 days into Q1 2023, and this is a better looking 2020, or this is a much better looking first quarter than Q4 looked. Because think about Q4. Q4 opened here. This is where Q4 opened of 2022. So its up move was very small, right? It was 10%. That's all you got on Q4 2022. You got a 10% move to the upside, and then booyah, right back down. So far, Q1, 19 days into Q1. Just 19 days into Q1, you have a 26% move to the upside. So already Q1 2023 looks much better and has done double better than Q4. And it's just getting started. So I will leave you on that note. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. As always, thank you guys so much for being here, especially the ones that are always here until the end. I really, really appreciate you guys so much. Appreciate you. Can't even express how much I appreciate you. I have such gratitude. It's awesome. Thank you so much. But make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.